8:38, ladies and gentlemen. Kat Neville from Feast Magazine joins us. It's sponsored by Jimmy's on the Park, 706 to Munn in Clayton, 725-8585. Their website, jimmyscafe.com. You can visit livingsocial.com tomorrow, April 17th, and get $40 worth of food for only $20. And don't forget about Easter weekend. What a great place to go for Easter brunch. Jimmy's on the Park, 706 to Munn Avenue in Clayton. Good morning, Kat Neville.
Good morning.
Normally when you're on, we talk about Feast and FeastSTL.com, Feast Magazine, Feast TV, Feast Radio. I've dubbed it FeastCom,
Yes.
which I think is appropriate.
I love it.
Yeah.
And you have been on this show for, it's got to be going on 7 years now at
You
least.
said 8 last week.
At least 15 years. So this news you're about to present.
Yeah.
You've been working on it. You've told us about it a couple weeks ago. You said it's almost ready. It's almost ready. It came out. What's the big news about the next level for Feast?
Well, we are beginning a region-wide expansion, which is incredibly, incredibly exciting. And it's a very natural growth for Feast because we already cover so much of what's happening regionally. For example, May, we're dedicated to the Missouri wine industry, the Illinois wine industry. You know, this month we covered Booz, which is that cutting board maker in Effingham, Illinois.
Right.
We've traveled to Stockton, Missouri to cover the world's largest black walnut producer. And so this is a very natural expansion in October of this year. We're going to more than double our distribution. We're going to be increasing our distribution here in St. Louis, and then we're going to be distributing 50,000 copies. So we're going to go to 80,000 here in St. Louis. We're going to do 50,000 in Kansas City, and then 20,000 in the areas in between. So Wine Country, Jeff City, Springfield, Columbia, and then we're going to also be in the St. Louis, in the country.
One of the biggest problems, concerns, issues you've had, and that we've heard is that you couldn't get it.
You can't, right?
I mean, it's a great problem to have, but it's also, as the publisher, you're pulling your hair out, because you want people to have your product.
Absolutely. And so we are working to make sure that, like I said, we're going to be increasing our distribution here in the St. Louis area and working diligently to make sure that people can get their hands on that hard copy. And I'm setting up my distribution strategy right now for the rest of the region. So it's really, really exciting. The thing is that, the great food doesn't stop at borders. It's something that, these stories extend, and there's so much just cross-fertilization across the entire region. Farmers that St. Louis chefs utilize are, in northern Missouri, and, there are collaborations between Kansas City chefs and St. Louis chefs all the time. We drink Kansas City beers and, wines that are made, hours and hours away. And so it's kind of like, what I'm really excited to do is to tell the full story of what's happening across the region.
We'll drink Kansas City beer. We won't eat their barbecue, though. It stops at the barbecue front door. I mean, let's just put it that way.
Well, I mean, when you look at the way that, our local brewers are distributing across the region into Chicago. I mean, it's
right.
This
That's
is
a great
something
point.
absolutely.
And this is always something you've sort of had your eye on, right? I mean, it wasn't just Feast for St. Louis and downtown and St. Charles. I mean, it was regional, and the plan was always to grow it bigger.
But here's the thing, is that what I'm most excited about is being able to broaden the scope and the reach of telling people what's happening here in St. Louis.
Right.
So it's, rather than just keeping it to ourselves, I want people far and wide to know what is happening here, because so much tourism is based on interest in exploring the culinary heritage of whatever place that you're going to. And so I want people to know what's happening here.
You know what? My sister came in yesterday from Arizona, and I'm telling her I'm driving by We See Produce Farms and Stone Soup Cottage, and she's like, oh, my goodness, we got to stop there. What a great idea. I can get some wine. I can get some home. She lives in Arizona. Nothing grows in Arizona except cactus. So she's like, I can bring home some of this, and then absolutely. So she's all jazzed about it. So your point about tourism is well taken.
And another point you were saying, there's so many little nooks and crannies in between St. Louis and Missouri.
Yeah.
I mean, St. Louis and Kansas City.
Absolutely.
That people need to know about those little places.
And I love it. I personally love just getting in a car on a Saturday and exploring, and that just makes living here so much more fun and rich, and just being able to just knowing all of the amazing people and producers and chefs that make up our Midwest food culture.
I feel like a proud uncle. We've been here from the beginning, right?
Yeah, that's right.
You were like, "Hey, I got this idea. I'm going to start a Feast magazine, and what do you think?" And it's been great. So we're thrilled for you.
Thank you.
Now, when you become Martha Stewart, which you're well on your way, you going to throw us a bone once in a while? Come on the show once in a while?
This is my home. This is my heart, and this is where we're staying.
Good for you. All right. Now, do you have any restaurants for us?
I do.
All right, go ahead.
I do. So I have a restaurant, and then I have an amazing event that brings together a whole bunch of great food in one spot. So the restaurant is brand new. It is on the edge of the hill at 4940 Southwest, and it's called Three Flags Tavern.
Yeah.
And have you been there?
I've not, but I've heard quite a bit about it.
It's awesome. I had a chance. We actually have covered it. We did a sneak peek on feaststl.com. But so the Three Flags stand for the U.S., France, and Spain. And the idea is to create kind of a bar and grill tavern that celebrates the three kinds of places.
Because the Three Flags have flown over St. Louis.
Exactly right. Yeah. I was really impressed with the food, and the service was incredible. It was wonderful. Spit it out, Neville. And and the interior is just comfortable. It was beautifully redone. It feels truly like an upscale tavern. It's very friendly. I had lobster beignets.
Whoa.
Yeah. So if you love a beignet, yeah, exactly. So if you love a beignet, you know that it is this kind of French donut. And what they do is they fold in lobster meat and scallions, and then and they dust it with powdered sugar that's been mixed with Old Bay seasoning, and they serve it with a lobster broth, lobster stock that you can kind of dunk those beignets into. Fantastic. They have this pozole also on the menu, which is essentially just this wonderful pork soup, and it comes with a hunk of pork shank that's bone in, and there's all this wonderful hominy, and it has like sliced fresh jalapenos, some diced red onion, diced tomato, a little bit of crema, and it's served with Indian fry bread, which I've never seen on a menu. That's what I love about this, is that it is comfortable, it is reasonably priced, and it is meant to be a neighborhood place, but they have really creative food. I had a trout with some lingonberries and a horseradish flan, and for dessert it was like this apple galette. You're looking at me funny.
No, I'm drooling.
It was awesome.
Three Flags Tavern.
Yeah.
It's right there where Kings Highway and Southwest meet, right by BMO
Yes,
Bank.
and when I went, I thought I didn't realize that I did not have to park on Kings Highway. So I parallel parked on Kings Highway, which is not on Kings Highway, on Southwest, which is no easy feat.
No.
But you can park in the bank.
Right.
So don't feel like you have to parallel park on
Right.
Southwest.
And for those, it's the old Harry's there. The Harry's was there for a long time.
Yes, and the owners,
Okay.
John and Kathy O'Brien, they recently bought a house in the neighborhood. They walked door to door to get their.
Oh, what a great story.
Yeah, I mean they really want to become ingrained in the neighborhood, and I wish them the best of luck, because I was really impressed.
All right, Three Flags Taverns, 4940 Southwest. Quickly, what's number 2?
Okay, so number 2 is an event this Saturday, the 19th. It's the annual Four Hands Food Truck Feast. And it's, and just long story short, amazing beer from Four Hands, which I love them. And then all these great food trucks kind of gathered together. So amazing food, live music, great beer. What else do you want on a Saturday?
Where is this?
Noon to 6. It's at Four Hands, which is on 8th Street. It's 1228th Street.
1220 downtown.
Close to downtown. It's just south of downtown.
All right. 12.
If you know where the old Rock House is, it's really close to that.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. All right,
Yeah.
good. 12 to 6. Right?
Yes,
12 to
exactly
6.
right.
12 to 6 at Four Hands.
Yeah,
A lot
at
of
Four
numbers
Hands.
in there. Okay, good. You might see a couple of Millhavens
Don't try to
over
add
there.
them together. Oh, good. I hope to.
I got a whole bunch
I'll
of
be there.
Yeah, a whole bunch of sisters in town. My niece is playing at the National Championship lacrosse thing over in Belleville.
Oh, awesome. Well, they would love Four Hands. I mean, honestly, you get to taste a wide array of amazing local eats, and then their beer is just insanely good.
How about that? We'll check that out. All right. FeastSTL.com.
Yes.
We can subscribe starting when?
We're working on it right now, so you still can get the McGraw special.
Okay, the McGraw Special. Subscribe. It'll get delivered to your house. with the Sunday St. Louis Post-Dispatch. You want the McGraw deal? Go to stltoday.com/McGraw.
Yes.
Have a good week.
Thank you.
You got it. Congrats.
Thank you.
8:48. We'll check traffic and weather, and then we'll talk a little hockey with Andy Strickland, who has forgotten more about hockey than any of us will ever know. And if you question that, just ask him. He'll tell you. That's all straight ahead. Big 550 KTRS.